All right, hey guys, welcome to the #1 hit YouTube show, Build It Like Beckham's. I'm Justin, this is Sharon, and on our first episode here, we thought we would just kind of share some background on ourselves and how we ended up here and why we're filming this. So I'll start with why we're filming it. We've been doing construction projects for the last several years since we've been married, and we've found people are always curious with how it's going. They want to know, what's the latest progress on a certain task, or can you send us photos of something completed, or they might also be curious. We found a lot of people want to know how we know to do what we do, or why we choose a certain material or build things a certain way. So for this current project, we thought we would start filming things and share it for everybody to see.
So since you're meeting us for the first time, we thought we would share a little bit about ourselves. Justin and I, we're engineers. We met at work 9 years ago here in California, and from there we were co-workers to friends to becoming a couple, and we got married. Like many newlyweds, we bought ourselves a little starter home that had a lot of features we liked, but also a lot of features we didn't like.
Yeah.
Like the earthy tones, the kitchen layout, the master bathroom, a lot of things. So when we got the keys, we also brought the sledgehammers. We did a lot of DIY renovations on that property, and that was a lot of fun. It turned all our date nights from sushi in San Francisco to really these romantic walks down the aisles of Home Depot. But at some point we realized there's so much changes we wanted to do for the house. It was really beyond practical, and that we would be better off building from the ground up. So we found a 5-acre property near where we lived, and we initially started out working with a home designer and trying to come up with a good home design that would work for us. But it turns out that our requirements are so unique and our visions are so different than most other people that it would really drive somebody crazy to, please us. So to spare the guy's sanity, we decided to take on the design task ourselves, which was challenging but also a lot of fun. And then it was on to looking for general contractors. But then again, the features that we designed for ourselves were so unique that most of the general contractors we interviewed weren't really up for the task. And so we took on the task ourselves and finally broke ground in 2014. Because the house is a 7,000 square foot home, it turned out to be a lot more than what two people can actually build. So we ended up subcontracting out the bulk of the construction work, and we moved in 2015, leaving still plenty of things for us to do, to really exercise our design and construction muscles, and also to build in a little sweat equity. And by the time we're done, which was 2 years later, we decided that it was time to dream bigger, a lot bigger. And so here we are, a lot bigger.
Yeah, so that was led us here to our current property, which is 27 acres. I suppose the property's a lot bigger. Maybe the house won't be, since the last one got pretty extensive. But we're on 27 acres now. You can see from this parcel map, it's got a creek that runs along almost the entire eastern boundary, which kind of gives it this oblong shape. But the creek is really cool. It's got a lot of rocks and so forth that the creek wanders around. There's some evidence of some historic gold mining activities with you can see where they've left some old rock piles behind and so forth. We're here in gold country, so it's kind of cool to see that historic evidence. But the 27 acres we kind of mentally divide between what we call the lower portion, which is the southern half, and the upper portion, which is kind of the northern half. And initially we've been doing some kind of clearing work just to get started and have a place to stay while we're here on really this lower half portion, which is also where we plan to build our little house. So we've gotten started with some clearing work, but we haven't really made it too far yet since we started filming here. So we'll keep working on the southern portion, and we really haven't done much with the upper part, but that's kind of where we're at so far.
So with the 27 acres, we definitely have a lot of room to create the spaces and the experience that we were looking for. We really want somewhere that's tranquil, and we can have these different areas that we can enjoy. For example, when we first came across the property, there was this meadow. It's a natural meadow that opens up to the creek. we thought it would be a perfect place for a lavender field. It's got plenty of sunshine, it's got a great slope, and so that's something that we know that we'll definitely have on our property. There's plenty of other things that we wanted to try to do so that we can start a more self-sustainable lifestyle, and also to really immerse more with nature. We definitely want to have like a edible garden for herbs and for different leafy greens, like
edible for us, not
edible
deer.
for us and not deer, our not so dearest deers guests. And we eventually want to have a greenhouse, maybe some few animals if we so choose.
We already have 2 wild animals.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the house itself, though, we think that maybe 7,000 square foot was a little too large for just the 2 of us, spending time in. So we'll have a much smaller main house that's custom designed for our lifestyle and for our hobbies. And we want to have a place where we can host families and friends still. And so what we plan to do is eventually to build these different little guest houses, kind of sprinkles throughout the property, so that when our friends or families come, they can kind of have a little corner to themselves, but close enough to spend a lot of time with us.
Yeah, so that's it. This is, like we said, this is the first episode. So in terms of what you'll see coming up, we're going to keep working on some brush and tree removal on the lower part of the property. And then we're going to start doing some grading work also for initially where we envisioned the house pad to be for our first little house. So the upcoming episodes, things may jump around a little bit. We kind of work on different tasks based on maybe the weather or time we have available, or maybe we're waiting on parts for something. So we'll try to put things together in an order that's easy to follow so you can see the progress, but it might also seem a little slow. We don't work at it all day every day, so bear with us, but it'll be many years in the making, and we hope you'll enjoy the hit YouTube show, Build It Like Beckham's.